very good evening, everyone. I am Divyanshi, and I am delighted to welcome you all to the second session of the Google Cloud Career Practitioner Program 2022, also known as GCCP. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Ritvik Sharma, founder and CEO of OneInfo, Google Cloud Certified CDL, AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, Certified Ethical Hacker, Full Stack Web Developer, and a mentor. Google Cloud Facilitator SRM IST Ghaziabad as the GCCP facilitator for today's session. Team GDSC PGDV welcomes you wholeheartedly to start our session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Divyanshi. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting me. Hello, everyone. My name is Ritvik, and today I'll be leading your session 2 for the Google Cloud Career Practitioner campaign. During the session, anywhere, if you have doubts, if you're not understanding anything, please feel free to interrupt me, and I'll be happy to answer your doubts. Also, let's keep the session little interactive. We are not in a college class, so I'd love to keep the session interactive. So I'll start now. Just a second, I'll share my screen. All right then. Uh, my name is Ritvik. I am the Google Cloud Facilitator for SRM Institute of Science and Technology at Ghaziabad. I'm also the founder of OneInfo. I'm certified in Google Cloud as well as AWS. Also, I have done full stack web development and I'm a certified ethical hacker. So I hope you like this session, you'll enjoy it. So I'll just quickly start it. The main agenda for this session would be we'll start from the very basics. What is cloud? We won't spend a lot of time because I hope you already know what cloud is. Later on, moving how the cloud evolved. What is Google Cloud Platform? Why are you using it? Why only Google Cloud Platform? Why not AWS? So after that, we will talk about the services, products, the security Google Cloud has to offer. What are high performance applications, scalable applications, horizontal scaling, and all of that. And after that, we would conclude the session. First, I will go through the PPT. I'll just quickly go through it. After that, we are going to do 2 labs. And don't worry, it is not going to be a basic labs. We will get in depth of the labs and understand how do labs actually work and how are you getting benefited from it. Right. So the basic thing is we all are into college. We all are studying something the day or the other, but somewhere or the other what lagging is the hands-on practice, right? So these cloud platforms charge so much that you are not able to actually get hands-on practice to it. But shockingly, the main thing is they don't charge a lot until unless you use their services, right? They don't charge you a lot until unless they use you use your their sorry you use their services, right? So very clearly what happens is uh, we are still not able to get that motivation to actually sit, spend our money, and get hands-on practice. But thanks to Google Developer Student Clubs, that it has been made possible that we are actually getting hands-on practice to Google Cloud Platform. And with that, I'm gonna start with the first slide. Okay, so what is Google Cloud? Why choose Google Cloud Platform? Why only GCP? Right? Anyone who would like to answer this? Random guesses are are fine. Anyone who would like to take a guess on it? Okay, fine. No worries. So Google Cloud Platform actually, rather any cloud platform in that matter, is something. Just a second. We have something in the chat box. Right. It is cheer various services. Yeah, you're right. Lakshay, it is cheaper. It is cheaper. Various services are provided. That's also right. Absolutely right. So, yeah, I'll go back. Cool. So, the basic uh, Meaning of cloud is actually providing resources as infrastructure, security, and other benefits over the cloud. You just have to log into your application, their interface, and you have to use the services. You don't have to, physically maintain anything in your house or in your colleges as per that. So these are public and private clouds. We'll get into the depth of it. It is definitely cheaper because cloud follows the pay as you go scheme. So what all services you're using, you only need to pay for them, and for how long, that also is dependent up to you. So it is much cheaper rather than having a physical server at your own place and maintaining the security and everything for it. Also, it offers many services, as someone mentioned in the chat, that is your computing, your database. So it is said that cloud offers infinite storage of data, right? That's a big thing. If it allows infinite storage of data, that means that we are never going to run out of space. Fine. Very basic question: what is cloud? The cloud is like scientific and stuff. Is it? Is it scientific? Is it rocket science? Anyone? Very basic question.
No.
No. Okay. Fine. So it is not scientific and stuff. It is not anything else. Fine. What cloud actually is? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing, right? So, what all resources you need for the processing of your data or for deploying applications? All the IT resources, right? Let it be infrastructure, let it be your virtual machines, let it be your database. Everything is there on the internet. You just have to go on the website and start using it. The best part is pay as you go, right? So what all you're using, you just have to pay for it. If I'm not using the database, that's fine. I won't pay for the database. That's the best thing. Now, example of a cloud would be your Google Cloud Platform, Amazon Web Services, Azure by Microsoft, etc. Right? So there's no cloud. It's just somebody else's computer, and that's right, because it is a physical data center, right? You're not able to see it, but the Google Cloud team is managing it. The Amazon Web Services team is managing it somewhere in the world at some data centers. It is someone's computer, it is someone's server, just that you're not able to see, or you don't have to get into so much details of it, right? So, moving on. Um, right. What is Google Cloud Platform? So, again, we have talked about it. I won't take a lot of time on this. That all the hardware that we require to host services like database, virtual machines, everything is provided by Google Cloud Platform. Except from that, the Google Cloud Marketplace, if you take, there is pre-written code by someone else, and it is there on the marketplace, which you can directly enable and start using it. There are APIs like Cloud Vision API. So if you upload a picture of yourself or a picture of someone else, it would tell what all the details are there in the picture, what objects are there, the face recognition system using the Cloud Vision API. Right. So that gives us an advantage of making our applications more scalable, more high performing, and we don't have to get into the code by ourselves. So we just have to integrate an API into our application, like the Vision API I was talking about, the face recognition systems, and we could just start using it. And honestly speaking, the accuracy of these models are way higher than any scratch code written by us, right? They are already being tested, and these are applications which are updated day to day, right? So it is much more precise and much more accurate, and even simpler to integrate in our applications. uh, Quickly, okay, but why only Google Cloud Platform? Why not AWS, or why not some other platforms? Anyone who would like to answer this? Why only Google Cloud Platform? Okay, no one. Fine. So the basic difference I've seen is the consistency of Google Cloud platform is way more than anything else. And personally, I prefer the interface of GCP better than other cloud providers out there, right? So it is your preference, but in terms of pricing, consistency of the service level agreements is much higher than any other cloud platforms out there. Fine. So don't quote me on this. In some services, AWS will perform better. In some services, Google Cloud will perform better. But the flexibility that GCP gives us while using Cloud Shell, the cloud interface, that is more better than any other cloud providers. Again, this is my personal opinion. You could check out other, right. Then why most companies are using AWS? So again, I said it is something about preferences, and it is something about your requirements. Fine. So someone who is looking more onto custom security, custom firewall side, they will prefer GCP over anything else. And specifically talking why other companies are using AWS is the number of services that AWS provides us. So if talking about GCP, you have about approximately 100 services, whereas in AWS you have approximately more than 170 services. Right. So again, there's a difference between these two things, and it is a matter of personal opinion. But I prefer Google Cloud Platform because the interface is very flexible. Number one. Number two, pricing is better because I deploy my applications in various regions. As per that, um, what comes out of my pocket should be very economical. After that, the third thing is that I like the interface. Very clear. So moving on, GCP customers, right? So PayPal, Airbus, your UPS services, and PNG, Twitter, everything works on GCP. Again, cloud is so important that for a company like Airbus, who are actually you know flying most of their planes, majority of the planes around the globe, their softwares cannot go down. They cannot afford their softwares to go down. Otherwise, you know, no one knows what is going to happen. So in that cases, even Airbus prefers GCP because of the consistency they give. These are a few examples. Okay, evolution of cloud computing. How did they evolve? Computers can fly now, no, they cannot. So, can they actually fly? How cloud computing evolved? One pleasant morning they started flying. Is it so? Is that how cloud works? Okay, here's the evolution of cloud. Cloud started in 1950s. None of us were born at that time. Yes. So it started in 1950s. We started from the very basic terminals. Slowly we got into the individual servers, the LAN connection that we started getting. Then the internet was introduced. After that, everything started evolving on servers. Right. So that servers went into the outside your space, outside your physical connections, and they are now given on a URL. Right. So that makes cloud possible. That's how cloud evolved actually. One day your server was there in your home. After a few years, it is not. You're just visiting a website link and doing everything that you were able to do without worrying about the maintenance, the security, and the consistency which these companies provide is much bigger in that sense. Uh, okay, just a second. Fine. So now we are going to talk about benefits. Again, that it is a high productivity. There's no disruption as per if electricity goes at your place, your system shuts down, right? Or maximum it works on your battery. and it can last up to 3 hours maximum, 4 hours maximum, right? But not more than that. But these companies have made sure that none of the servers go down. And if some server or some data center is affected, it directly shifts your application onto some other things and some other data centers in particular, and from there your services are still not interrupted. So that's a big point in using cloud. Again, higher uptime, reliability, flexibility, and the security they put in to actually secure their systems is of high quality. So obviously clients will go onto their website and prefer them. Google platform, it has, as I said, more than 100 services to offer, and the data centers are widely spread across the globe, providing high low bandwidth and high availability. Again, it all comes down to various regions and zones that Google provide us. The security is at max, everything is at max of good quality. So GCP offers us services into three categories. Not three actually, there are more now, but basic three categories. That is infrastructure as services, IaaS, platform as a service, and software as a service. Right. So I'm going to quickly explain the difference between all of this. Right. So on the very left, the all blue row, that column that you see, shows us that all the applications, the data, and everything was managed by us. But in infrastructure as a service, what has happened is the the red fields are managed by the cloud providers, right? And what we manage is in the blue. So the OS which I have to launch my application in, what would be the runtime? How much data do I have to give it? Everything is managed by me. Just that all the storage and deploying it on servers is managed by the cloud. In platform as a service, what happens? Even the OS is managed by the provider. You just have to click on the drop down menu and select the OS that you want to actually run it on, and that's all. You just have to launch your application, you have to run your code, and you're done with it. You don't have to put in your head configuring everything. It's just drop down menus, select it, work on it. Software as a service is services that you actually use on day to day basis. That is your Gmail itself, right? Talking about Gmail, what you do, it is a software that is given to you by Google, and you just go check your things, and you just log out or just close the tab itself. But you're not actually managing anything in that Gmail, right? Except your account. You're not managing for how long will that server work, on which servers is my Gmail platform deployed. You won't check that. You will just use it as a software. So I hope this is clear. Moving on, regions and zones. What are regions and what are zones? So, okay, fine. There are 35 regions and approximately 106 zones. And as you can see in the coming soon photo here, that they are still expanding, they are growing. And there are a lot of cities, countries they are expanding into. Right, so that explains us the demand and the the trust people have for cloud. They're just expanding, and in the next 5 years, it is going to be one of the mainstream technologies that people would be onto. No one wants to maintain their own servers anymore now. So regions are something which contain more than three zones, right? So if I talk about the India region, we have three zones in India, uh, which would be in Mumbai, in Delhi, and in Chennai, I guess. Not very sure about that. But that is something. India is a region, and in India, we have three zones. Right, so they usually specify it as Asia, SP, and then 1, 2, 3. That are the Mumbai data centers. Mm, okay, zones. Why they have zones? Why not only regions? Why not only one data center, but multiple zones in it, multiple data centers to actually manage it? That is to introduce low latency. gamers here, if any, they would know that what ping is, right? So ping is something that is sending your packets till the server and getting back. That time has to be very minimal if you're playing a game. That time has to be very minimal in terms of any transactions, right? So that is very important. So that's why zones are introduced for low latency networks and for higher bandwidth. So this is an image of the GCV zones, and current region is this. In Asia, they have Mumbai, Delhi, Hong Kong, Singapore, Asia Pacific, all these things. And I'm telling you, Google Cloud is still expanding. They're coming into the Middle East as well. They're coming into Doha, Qatar. They're coming into Dubai specifically. So it is ever going growing thing. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Okay. So what services do GCP provide us? What services? What in particular? So if you talk about storage, we have cloud storage, we have cloud SQL, cloud spanner, and every service does a different operation. One service would do, high performance. One service is just for, archiving your data in that sense. Moving on, compute engine, your Kubernetes, compute engines actually help us to launch VM instances, the virtual machine instances, and then you have cloud functions in particular. Cloud functions are something. How do I explain this? Fine. Cloud functions are something. If you want to trigger a piece of code, right? If something is some event is triggered on your website, you want to trigger that specific code. So cloud functions will do that for you, and you don't have to manage anything. You don't have to uh, you know launch your own virtual machine for that. You can just take that part which you want to trigger when the event goes off, and it will do automatically for you. Fine. uh, and in analytics, BigQuery is one of the biggest data warehouses that any cloud provider can see. After that, in machine learning, we have ML APIs that are again cloud vision APIs, your translation APIs. TensorFlow is again a big uh, offering by GCP for processing your AIML data and other things. In serving, you have big studio dashboards, etc. So serving are not very uh, very tough to understand, but they are something. If your concept is clear, then only you'd be able to understand that, right? So we are going to go uh, into a few services, and we are going to see it here. So the upcoming services are something which will help you in the cloud learning pathway, right? So I hope everyone knows the path which we have to complete for the program, right? The campaign, which is the cloud engineer learning path. Okay, you're aware. That's great. So what happens? Okay, fine. I'll explain you in this way. What services I'm going to cover right now is just in detail, right? So in brief, so now we are going to as we start the sessions, as we start the courses, we are going to get in depth of it and understand those particular services, what they do, how do they work, and everything of that sort. But right now I'm just giving an overview which will motivate you a little, which will help you understand a little of from where you begin, from where you start, from where you what particularly this services does, right? If I talk about compute engine, so I'll just give you an overview, and you'll know that okay, fine, it is used in VM instances, and after that you'll start grasping up things and understand it automatically. So what's next? Anyone, any guesses? The scientific cat that we saw in the first fourth slide, I guess. What's next? Okay, you want to do labs, but you'll have to wait for it, right? You'll have to wait for it, and We'll do labs in 10-15 minutes. I think in 10 minutes we'll start labs. Fine. Compute engine. Again, services are categorized as infrastructure, platform, and software. So all the APIs come under the software services. So compute engine, it is an infrastructure service that provides infrastructure as a service that provides virtual machines hosted on Google's infrastructure, high performance and general purpose VMs that integrate easily with other Google Cloud services and scale globally. Right? Uh, okay. If I launch a virtual machine in my own system, I have a set of rules that I have to follow. I cannot provision the virtual machine more memory than my own system. If I am operating on a 16 GB RAM, I cannot give the virtual machine, even 80% of it, because again my system would start lagging if I run that virtual machine. But you don't have any such limitations in the cloud. Uh, in particularly, what happens is you don't have such limitations. You can use maybe 32, 64, 128 GB of RAM, and you could scale it horizontally, vertically. I'll explain you that in the upcoming slides. Your performance, okay, so if you're running on a 4 core CPU, you cannot provide it with 8 core CPU, right? You'll have to provide with 4 or even less. 4 is also something which will crash your system, but anything less than that would work. So cloud doesn't stop you there. It tells you tell me as per your specifications you want 4 core or 8 cores, and I will help you with that. I'm going to provide you with that. You don't have to worry about my systems crashing. You just have to think about your business, your application, your project, your everything. Don't think about me, I'll give you with everything. So it's like that. Moving on, app engine. So it is a platform as a service. Just this second. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. uh, It is a platform as a service for building web applications and mobile backends using container instances which are configured with libraries and runtimes. So, platform as a service, why do we say it? You don't have to actually worry about the host OS that it will operate on. You just have to think about ki, how much I want, fine, and how much I'm going to implement. I don't have to worry about the backend. Fine, if you go to a restaurant, you don't actually go into their kitchen and see what they're making it for me. You just would like to use the end product, right? You would just like to eat the dish that has been served hot on your table. You just care about that. You don't have to, you won't go into the kitchen and ask, no, please explain me how you're doing this. And none of the customers will. If you're using maybe Instagram for that matter, you don't go to the developers and ask how you have developed it. You just keep liking pictures and keep scrolling through the reels. And that's how the industry goes, right? No one actually cares about your backend. But as a developer, even you should not care about the infrastructure which is being provided. These are some instances where you just have to complete your tasks and complete your assignments that have been allotted to you. Cloud functions. Okay, fine. Cloud functions are something, it is serverless asynchronous compute solution for microservices. Right. So you don't need a server, you don't need a runtime environment, you don't need anything for it. Cloud functions are something which are released when a event is triggered. So if there's a piece of code, if I want to, okay, fine. There's a website, I want to click on a button and I want to show that message, welcome to cloud. Right. So as soon as I click that button, an event is triggered and the code releases that as per the option which we have given, and it will show you welcome to cloud. If you don't press on that button, it won't do anything, right? So that's exactly how this works. You don't have to think about the code being executed, you don't have to think about anything else. You just have to basically focus on the services that you're creating. And why it is asynchronous? it won't wait for anything. Like when we execute code, what happens is first line will get executed, second will, third will, right? But if my two instances are waiting for 2 seconds of time before they get executed, it won't happen. So if I have one piece of code which is taking 2 seconds, then I have second piece of code which is taking 2 seconds. Total time is 4 seconds, right? But if I have asynchronous code, what is going to happen is if first code is taking 2 seconds, till then even second code will start and it will take 2 seconds. So whole program will just take 2 seconds rather than of taking 4 seconds, which is very efficient because it is cutting our time by 50%, right? So any which ways, again cloud storage. Uh, the high performance is very important. The high security is very important. So what exactly happens is that cloud storage is divided into 3-4 parts. One is the less accessible data. You could store it in nearline if you're accessing it only once a year. That will help you in paying less as well, and it will help you in not bothering about the data, and it is kept safely somewhere, which is the archive data. And there are other regions as well, the regional. And if you're using transactional databases every day, that will go on into your geo redundant, right? So which is quick, which is always on the line. Whenever someone logs into their system, the database should be able to tell them everything about the transactions they made, right? So again, Google Cloud IMA roles, identity and access management. So as an administrator, they say that give your employees only the power they want, right? Or they actually require. So if I'm a developer, so I'll be just given the power of compute engine and not the database because I'm a developer. If I'm a database administrator, I won't be given the power of running the compute engine. I don't have interest in making the virtual machines run or not run. I'll just focus on my database. So that will help in the security of your data. Like if the database is affected, whose fault it is. If the compute engine is affected, whose fault it is. And only specific resources are in your control, right? So if I'm an employer, I'll just stay connected with the specific resources and I'm done. I don't have to worry about anything else. So only administrators can choose the IMA roles, and that's how they actually work. And it is also recommended that companies have different team-wise IMA roles, and then they are further classified. In it helps in auditing and the billing structure as well. Scalable applications, right? So scalability is something. Uh, Scalable is something which is like an elastic band, right? So if I'm having normal number of users like 10, I'm just on the normal of elastic band, right? But how about suddenly I have 100 users? So my servers can crash. My server is only made to handle about 10 users. But suddenly if I have, into 10 in number, my server will obviously crash. But these platforms are made possible that, you know, uh, you don't have to be particular about anything. If 100 users come, they are going to expand into 10 different machines, and your servers won't go down, your market won't get affected, your business won't get affected. But if then only 10 users, then why do I need 10 number of machines? It says it's all right, I'll scale down. So it scales down again to one machine when there are just 10 number of users. So that's what scalability means. Now it is horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Horizontal is if I'm using 8 GB of RAM and 100 users come, for one server it is 10 users, it will create 10 copies of the same machine of 8 GB, right? Vertical scaling does not create a copy. If it is 8 GBs, I will tell it to make it 64 GBs, right? That okay, if someone comes, make it 64 high performance systems. It says okay, if I'm 8, I'll make it 64 GB, but I won't create 10 copies. So that is the basic difference. And again, Terraform, I particularly chose this because it is there in one of the labs I've seen, and it is an open source infrastructure as code software. Actually, this helps you to improve your infrastructure. So you start automating stuff. If I'm not getting these many particular users, it will help in uh, making the infrastructure very safe and very economical in that matter. Again, Kubernetes is something where you actually it is a container, and once my application is deployed under a certain version, I contain it with the same settings and the same configurations into that particular container, and I just have to run that container. And scalability monitoring is much easier in Kubernetes. So okay, this is a good meme that I came across a while ago, and that is I installed kubeconfig. Now what? So Kubernetes is not this. It's not very easy and it is not very hard as well. So there's a very basic command to actually make Kubernetes work is kubeconfig. Right. After doing that, no one knows how to go about it. But in the labs or in the next sessions, we could actually look into this in detail. Virtual private cloud is something that is mm, that is a subnet that contains one or more subnets, right? So if I'm having a main zone, a main region, I have different subnets of the zones. So it is a pool of resources, right? A pool of resources that could be used by the resource by the cloud clients. Again, Google provides us security in different categories. It also lets us, you know, apply firewall rules that make one thing very particular, that if outside users are not allowed to it, they are denied the connection request. Despite the if they even have the IP address, they're not let in because you have already denied external connections. So that's how usually even organizations work, that they block your access to certain websites. They block your access to some particular libraries which are of no use and which are of harm. Okay, that would be it for right now. But quickly, I'll just before doing labs is something which you'll have to sit and do it yourself. We could just help and we could just guide that what challenges are you facing. We could resolve that. What you're not understanding, we could help you with that. But in particular, what happens is that you yourself will have to sit and brainstorm of things that you're not able to crack down, and that's how you will learn. Right? You're able to see my screen now. This is the cloud engineer learning path that all the participants under the program have to complete. And I think the first one, everyone has done it, right? Everyone has completed the first one, and it doesn't have any labs. Also, it just tells you about the if you complete this pathway, you'll be able to crack the associate developer certification of Google Cloud, and that is a big thing that adds onto your CV as well. So Google Cloud fundamentals. So we have seen the fundamental services. So I guess we could have a look at this as well. I'll just go to home, right? So do we have any labs here? Okay, fine. This is the resources access in the cloud for the fundamentals. I've already completed it. Do you want me to complete this lab again, or should I show you the virtual machines lab? I'll just quickly go down to the lab. Great, great. How's it going? Are you liking it? Are you getting bored? Are you sleepy? Thank you so much. That helps. Okay, we are into this now, and the first one is explore the default network. That is the VPC networks, the firewall rules. Fine, I'll just quickly go here. VPC. Right. So even I'm liking it because even I'm getting to learn something new. So that always happens with me. That it's a two-way thing. Learning is always a two-way thing. Sometimes I don't know stuff, and sometimes you guys don't know stuff, and that's how we together learn a lot. So as you can see here, the default VPC is named default, and there are 23 subnets under it, right? And in IP addresses, it's loading the contents. Fine, we don't have a reserved external static IP address. Now be very careful while using the services that every service is not free and every service is not paid. So you have to have the knowledge of what services are free and what are not. What happened once, I closed all my services, I stopped it, but I forgot to, delete my subnet IP. And at the end of the month, I got a bill around $400 that said that please pay this, otherwise we'll block your account. And I just thought that I don't have any services, I don't have anything. What is it incurring charges of? So I checked, I had a subnet IP address that was not deleted, that was working at that time. So be very careful about, while using the cloud. Okay. So these are the firewall rules that apply to all, and this has a TCP range, a UDP range, all that protocols are defined, right? So this is for SSH that will work on the port number 22 only. So SSH is usually while you're using your own system to actually access Google Cloud, only the employees can access this, right? So this we have explored. Now we'll create a VPC network and VM instances, right? So we'll quickly create this. Okay, only one task is there. Create a VPC network so that you can create VM instances. So under that VPC network, under that private network, we are going to create a virtual machine, right, with the firewall rules. So if someone else from outside is trying to access it, they won't be able to, or someone from the internal network is trying to access some external files that the organizations don't usually allow. It will block those connections as well. So VPC networks, create VPC type, name my network. Let's go slowly. We'll go to here VPC networks and VPC networks. Create a new VPC network. And the best part about cloud is you don't have to wait for long. Just a minute or two and you're done. For subnet creation mode, automatic. For firewall, ठीक है. This we will keep on automatic. So these are the IP addresses that will, you know, be targeted while you're hosting this machine. Now, if you're doing it custom, you'll have to select every region, every type of IP address, and every range of IP address that is available for the others. But for now, we'll just do it automatic. In firewall rules, uh, what they have said for firewall rules, select all available rules. There are same there are the same standard firewalls that default network have. They deny online. Fine. So these are the protocol rules, and we have to select all of them, right? So I selected all of them. Now click create when the new network is created. Record the IP address range for the subnets in US Central 1. Okay, fine. We'll record this. For now, just keep it regional and just create it. Okay, it. Till then, I will just quickly go to the VM instances, which comes under compute engine and VM instances. Creating my network. Fine. Shouldn't take long. Yeah. We have the instance here. US Central 1 as the region, US Central 1C as the zone. So this is this, I'll just paste this India Central 1. Okay, it's on Central 1. Central 1C is the zone. Series N1 F1 micro. Okay, what particularly does the series mean? It categorizes your systems or the data center servers in such a way that if I want to use a high performing system, right? So I'm going to choose a different kind of machine. I'll show it here in the services. Now, it is the power of CPU that is actually classified under this. So they have told me to use an N1 type of first generation uh, machine of F1 microtype, right? Not custom, F1 microtype. So as you can see, it has just one CPU and 1614 MB of memory. But N1 standard 4 has 15 GB of memory. So all that varies from your purposes and the optimizations that you're looking out for. Now again, how much will this cost me? It will cost me about 4.88, right? But if I choose the Mumbai server, I think the pricing should change. See, it has gone up by 585. So even pricing from zone to zone matters. So terminal IP is this. I'll just copy it and paste it here. This is for a VM instance. Now let's check the IP address for the VPC network, right? VPC networks. Sorry, IP addresses for your machine. Right. So very clearly the IP address is exactly the same because you're on the same US Central uh, one zone. Okay, now we have to create a machine in Europe Central too. I'll just quickly do that as we are already running out of time. Europe Central 2. It should get deployed in a minute or so. Okay. Now see there's a change in IP address. Now it shows that it is 186.02. So this also tells that it should be 10.186.02 because one is already a reserved gateway. So I think it is in the range of this. It is exactly the same rather because it is in the central to server zone, and anything under that zone would have the same internal IP address. Right. So this was my task. I will just please create both instances with desired configurations. Let's check. If you don't like, you have to complete this step. Okay, where we have gone wrong. Where we have gone wrong. We have gone wrong somewhere. Just a second. Anyone who can identify where you've gone wrong? So we're in the right range, but we have made some mistake. Instances. Okay. For firewall set available rules. These are all standard rules that are organized. See, this is a life of a developer, a cloud engineer. That you are going to face issues, right? But you should know how to actually deal with them. Well, I don't know how to deal with them as of now, and I'm hoping I'll figure it out. Where have I gone wrong? Please randomly check. Maybe it works. Some miracle occurs. It shows that you have completed with a green tick. Okay, I have not. Perfect. 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 You're already running late on the time. I would request the GDSC team to give me just 5 minutes, and then we could wrap up the session, if that is okay. Thank you so much. Europe Central to Europe Central to C. Get instance. And let me try it once more. Let me try it once more. Okay, fine. I'll just create a new EU machine first. Check that we are not going wrong anywhere. EU, that is a Europe Central 2 zone. Warsaw, Europe Central 2A, N1, machine type N1 of F1. Okay. Once this machine is deleted, I'll be able to use the same name, but taking some time. So even the best of the developers face bugs, face issues every single time I talk to them. They're like, हाँ हमारे से तो नहीं चल रहा कोड ये किसी और को ही बुलाना पड़ेगा and that's how the community goes. That's the best part I like about this community, that uh, we are not stuck on a single thing. We just take help and learn from it and move on. The next time we don't make it. Mm, I'll just create it again. I don't think so. Both instances with the desired configurations. I think we have made some mistake here in defining the. Okay, this is created. That's great. Again, our internal IP has changed from 2 to 3. Awesome. All the errors come when we are in an event or we are doing something. While doing it alone, none of these errors will ever occur. And that is the best part. But how to debug this? Right, so I have declared my network here. Edit VPC, create VPC network for name my network. Automatic. For firewall, select all the available rules. These are the same standard firewall rules. Okay, I think I've done it well, but it is not working. Anyone who is able to see the error? Anything at all? Yeah. Doesn't look like you've completed the step yet. Try again. Mm. Okay, so I guess I have missed the steps here. Fine, let me just quickly check this. Either one, right, the left main or this is the routes, the firewalls. Okay, we forgot to delete these firewalls, right? If you remember, what happened is the default when I open, select all the default, click on the left hand firewall and all the default. Okay, so much guy. So all the default firewalls had to be deleted and delete to confirm the selection. So we had to delete this. To create a VM instance. Okay. We forgot to do this step. Uh, Rest everything is fine. So nothing much to debug, but face some issues. And I know it's dinner time for everyone. Everyone is feeling hungry, even me. So I'll just quickly wrap it up here once this is deleted. Okay, it is taking some time till then. What you guys can do, you guys could go on slido.com on your web browsers, and you could just quickly give me a feedback of how the session was. So Slido.com. This is the code that you have to use, and it is just 1 to 5 stars feedback. I would really appreciate it if you just give your feedbacks here. Uh, Clubs is already being used. Okay, sorry. Uh, yes, Shubham, please tell me. I'm open to take doubts here, but this operation has failed. Let me just quickly refresh it. On the second course of GCP getting started, and its lab section says that in order to start with column enable lab, search for it showing two other options, but not the one that is being recommended in the instructions of enable the instrument. Okay, so uh, I'll answer the easier question first. That is, it should be a monthly subscription only. It has to be monthly subscription only. And thank you so much, Sushil. Really appreciate it. Uh, it has to be monthly subscription, and the package which you're talking about, even I have accessed it, and I did not face any such issue. So if you just take the name directly and copy paste it, you should not face any issue in trying that. It is the exactly same instance that is happening. I'll just delete this VPC as well. So what are the other two options that you're getting, if you could let me know? Because they keep updating their courses and labs with the new new code and new everything. So if you could help me with that, I would really appreciate it. I'll be able to help you in a better way. Sure. I'll just relog in. I don't know. The default networks still not work. Let's go to VPC right here. VPC networks. Quickly. Okay, so this is what has happened. We forgot to delete the IP, the default IP addresses, and we were not able to, uh, you know, uh, get the full points. But what all you have to do is exactly delete the default settings and follow the steps that are given, and that's it. That will help you uh, complete this lab. So we are done with the session. Please give the feedback. Slido.com. I've given the code in the chat box below. Uh, if you could just wait for like 1 minute, I'll just quickly complete this. Right? It won't take long now. And if you want to go, you could go, and you could also connect with me on my LinkedIn. Here's my LinkedIn. This is my QR code. If anyone wants to connect with me, they could scan this. So okay, we have deleted the VM instances. With webmin. While when I completed it, it was bit nanny only. So if you just copy paste that exact word in the marketplace, sometimes that helps, that works. So you know you could just try that. The exact no stack server on CentOS won't work. That won't work at all. So if you're still facing, let's try copying. No, not the one. Okay, fine. Shubham, do one thing. Connect with me on my LinkedIn. Just text me there once, and maybe by tonight I will send you the resolution to it, right? If that works. Yeah. So मैं फटाफट से कर लेता हूँ पूरा डिफॉल्ट सेशन. How's the session overall? If we have a session again, if GDXC of your college likes it, if you guys like it, if we have a session again, do you want more of practical or more of conceptual? Thank you so much. The creativity and the bugs is always uh, very interesting. Practical, okay. Practical. Yeah. Deleting the network takes more time than actually creating it. That's cloud. That is cloud. Okay, fine, it is deleted. Perfect. Now, quickly, I'll just complete it. Huh? PC network. This is automatic. This is all. This is routing. This is create. Perfect. Now we go to compute engine, we have instances, create instance, and the US instance in particular. US Central 1, US Central C2. This is our first generation machine, F1 Micro. And I will just make sure all feeds are correct and Central 1, Central C. Straight to here. Photo issues. Where's my issue? Toggle item, my network. We are facing issues. Why? Okay. Okay. I think my network is created here. So it should automatically take it, right? If my network is already created here, yeah. Mine has one and one has one. Advanced options. It's asking for you must select a sub network. How do I use a sub network? That's the whole point. Okay. Now I have to actually, what is happening is I need to actually put in the sub network, which is uh, the IP address range. But what exactly is happening that uh, our VPC is not able to give the IP addresses for the network it has just created. That's really very strange. Really very strange. Because all the networks are listed here, and despite that, it is not allowing us to actually use it. Right. It should work. It should work. But it is not. You can create. See, now it started creating when I did not put in the right name. Exactly when I didn't put up the right name, only in that time it started working. How much frustrating is that? Oh boy. Here's Central One. Okay, so what happens is IP addresses take some time to actually get created. So must have taken time for that. US Central. Create another virtual machine. I should better work this time. EU machine. US Central 2. US Central 1. 2, 1. Okay. It will work this time. Hopefully, it should. We did it right. We have deleted the default firewall rules. So missing one small step can create so much issues in your guide. Yeah. Okay. Let's check my progress. Ta-da! Correct. Okay, that's awesome. We have completed it correctly now. This time, what happened is we did not delete the default rules and we created a new one. So the default are always given priority while creating an instance. And when we deleted the default rules, we did not delete the VM machines which already got connected to the default rules, which got deleted. So it is a lot of confusion. So make sure to delete your default rules first and then create a new one. Right? This is how we complete a lab. Sometimes if the tick does not come, you usually check here because this sends a request instantly rather than loading the server every 5 minutes. This is the lab. This is the end of the lab. We have on all points. I'll close it. Give it five. Okay, 5 stars. I hope even you have given me 5 stars, but that's not compulsory. The giving feedback is more necessary. That's all from my side. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll share the LinkedIn link in the chat box below.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and accepting our request to come. We look forward for more from you, and we really thank you from on behalf of Team GDSC PT. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, team. It was a great session, and I hope I've resolved some bugs here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sushil. Thank you, Jyoti.